Ahoy, hoy, hi, hi, hey. My name is Neil Patterson. I'm a dude, and this is episode 99 of my podcast, SUPcast, with Neil P. This is something I started in 2019, and I did it a whole bunch throughout the pandemic, and then after that, it became very sporadic, one might say. Sporadic is the word I'm looking for. But I don't know. My YouTube channel is monetized, which means I should make more YouTube content. So this is a YouTube podcast, and this is Neil Patterson talking about the recent tour I went on. I just went on tour, and let's count the days. I'm going to pull up my calendar here, and I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of this tour that I went on with my musical project, SUMPP, SUMPP. That's my musical project that I started at the end of 2022 after I stopped doing my band Downtown Brown. Okay, cool. So yes, SUMPP. The tour started on August 27th, and I'm going to go through each date and tell a little story, a little recap of each date of the tour, because there was a lot that happened. And while it's still fresh in my mind, I kind of want to go over, like where my head was at, what I was thinking, how the show went, my takeaways from this 1 month journey of my life where I went fucking all over the place. So yeah, let me find the thing real quick. I'm going to find the itinerary. I'm going to find the peanut butter Iditarod. But anyway, how are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Life is a roller coaster, man. There's ups and downs, and there's all types of things that they try to detract from your positivity about the world, and there's things that actually add to it. And it's all happening simultaneously, and that's something that I'm realizing is that life isn't just good. It's good, it's bad, it's terrifying, it's fun, it's stupid, it's maddening, it's depressing, it's everything all at once, and you have to navigate this stuff. And it's funny too, because people want to arrive at this thing called happiness. Like happiness is this, it's this static thing that once you find it, it's just there. No, it's an everyday battle. I think it's an everyday battle. Every day I have to weigh what I'm grateful for and the things that are right in front of me with all of the negative talk that's in my brain. And it's a constant battle. Okay, cool. West Coast 2025, the SUMPP West Coast tour. It started. Let's just paint a picture of what this thing was. Not all of it, but 2 of my videos went crazy viral, millions and millions of views, and which is pretty cool. But the next step after that is okay, take it on the road. And what I wanted to do is use this tour as a litmus test. We were going to book a tour with no booking agent. We were going to book a tour and just kind of see if people gave a fuck. And it was definitely an interesting science experiment. And right now this podcast is part of me gathering the evidence. So here I am. I'm going to recap numbers and we're going to gather evidence. People think when your shit goes viral online that you're just, after that it's off to the races. You have a music career. And the thing is with the nature of my music is that, I don't know. It's they might as well be jingles. They're meme-worthy little snippets of music that might as well be used for a commercial or some crap. But it doesn't necessarily. I don't know if these are 3.5 minute pieces of art that really resonate with people for long periods of time, other than a chuckle. And that's just me being objective about it. It's I don't know. I don't make meme music, but a lot of my music can be distilled down to maybe a joke. I have some music that is, I don't know, a little bit more meaningful and thoughtful, but as of right now in the trajectory of the SUMPP project, it's a lot of crazy ADD fucking crazy ideas that are just very boldly presented in this quick manner. And which kind of lends itself to virality in a way, because it's okay, the song Laid Off, the hook is super simple and it's super to the point, and it says exactly what it's saying. It's very literal. I got laid off from a job I don't like, blah, blah, blah. But people connected to that. People also connected to my weird faces and the whole hoax of, it wasn't even a hoax, it was just a meme, saying I was Gary Busey's grandson. So anyway, some of this translated into ticket sales, which is pretty cool because like when, as a touring artist, when you go out, you want people to be there and you want people to be excited about seeing you perform live. So that was a good thing. But in some of these markets, and I'll get into it, the promoters didn't do anything. They just didn't do anything. And B, some of the virality and the reach did not reach these specific markets. And I think that's really what it comes down to. It's on a market by market basis, and a market being a town. It's on a town by town basis how affected the memes were in getting people to buy tickets. But I'm also going to tell some stories about my journey along the way and what I did during the day on those days. So yeah, so strap yourself in if you want to hear me tell you about the last month of my life. So strap yourself in if that's what you want. And if you don't want that, click to another video or listen to another podcast. And there's a million different things you could be doing with your time. But if you're spending your time with me right now, I just want to say, I appreciate it. Thank you for spending your time with me. Okay, here we go, right here on my phone. Here, let's make it bright again. The SUMPP West Coast 2025 tour. I could just put the graphic up there, but I'm putting my phone up here. So let's go through the dates. All right, on the 27th of August, I drove down to Al's Bar in Lexington, Kentucky. That was the first day of the tour. I had sold one ticket to the show. And some of these places I vended my own tickets because they were bars that don't even offer that. Like it's like, hey, I want to book a show. They're like, yeah, you're in. I'm like, okay, can you get a ticket up on your website? We don't do that. So in those cases, I sold my own tickets. So I vended my own tickets and I sold one. Showed up to Lexington, Kentucky, and there's a dude there. Forget the dude's name, but he gave me a balloon and he gave me a 6-pack of Ale 8 soda. It's called Ale 8, and I guess it's made in Lexington, Kentucky. And I took that Ale 8 soda, and he gave me some Grippos, which are some chips. And I was like, okay, cool, this is cool. Because this is the difference between having somewhat of an online fan base and having nothing. It's like with my old band, we would show up to places and we wouldn't know anyone. There wouldn't be anyone waiting for us with gifts. There wouldn't be anyone excited to see us. We would just show up and we'd be like, okay, I guess we have to try to convert all of these people, or if there was even anyone at the gig, into Downtown Brown fans, my old band Downtown Brown. And that was but the difference between then and now is now when I show up, there's like some dude waiting for me with the balloon and some chips. And there was only 5 people at that show who came to see me. I think the show had like 6 or 7 people, including the staff, in attendance at the show. The other bands didn't bring anybody. One of them was a band on tour, and the other band brought like a significant other, and then there was the staff. So it was a total dud of a show. 7 people watching me perform. But, I managed to sell enough merchandise. And I also got a gift. So first night of the tour, you're looking at it and you're just like, okay, is this what it's going to be? Is it going to be like nobody shows up except for maybe like 5 people, but those 5 people all buy something, so you're able to survive? And a lot of the shows ended up being that. That's true. And people are like, oh man, you fucking 20 million views in 1 month and fucking 6 million views on the Laid Off video. It's like everywhere you go, there's going to be people there excited to see you. That's not necessarily the fact. Lexington, Kentucky, 7 people. But I did get the gift and I did sell merchandise. And that's all that really matters at the end of the day, especially when you're a solo artist and you're keeping all of the merchandise money. A 7-person show can net you enough money to get a hotel and keep going. Okay, so that was the beginning of the tour. Right. And the next show was at the Haven House in Memphis, Tennessee. This was another show where it was a long drive. I think it was an 8-hour drive, and I made it to Memphis. And the proprietor of the Haven House got me a burger, and they were super sweet, super nice. I set up my merch, and it's just another one of those gigs where the local bands, they bring maybe a couple people, and then I bring maybe 5 or 6 people, and it was maybe a show in front of 10 people. But the people that did come to see me, this is the difference, is once you sort of have an online fan base, is the people that come to see you, they travel like some of them travel like 2 to 3 to 4 hours just to see you play in front of 7 people, and then they buy stuff. So it's worth it. And shouts out to Haven House. bought me an amazing burger because I was driving for 8 hours and it was the first long drive of the run. So I was kind of getting like anxious and a little like lightheaded on the drive. And when I got there, I was gifted an amazing burger. So that was the fucking shit. But the point I'm going to drive home about this touring shit and being a small artist is that you don't need to play in front of a shitload of people to be able to sell enough stuff to get to the next town and not lose money. These shows in front of 7-10 people, I'm good at selling stuff, you know, and my merch is dope. So I can sell enough stuff to get to the next city, and I did just that. Okay, Red Brick Bar. This was the next one. This was this day I bought the PA. And so I had this idea. I'm like, I'm going to play some house shows, and I'm playing some like smaller venues on this tour. So I'm going to get a PA from Guitar Center, and when the tour is done, I'm going to return it. And I did just that. And I got this line array PA, and it just sat in the box. I didn't use it for that night. Red Brick Bar. I used to play this place all the time. It's in Norman, Oklahoma, which is I think it's a college town. It's just south of Oklahoma City, and it was nice. I had a bunch of friends come out. Back in the day, we used to tour and hang out with these like whiskey drinking crust punk kids. And now they don't drink as much whiskey and they have kids and they're adults. But it was my boy Tucker's birthday and he came out and it was really nice. And the PA, the Red Brick PA actually like sounded good. The SUMPP set sounded good. Everyone sat down. That's a new thing now. People sit and watch me like it's a comedy set. It's different than, you know, when you're in a band, you're like, everyone out of your seats, we got to fucking mosh. It's like, no, people just listen to the jokes and they sit there and they just enjoy the show. And it's okay. I don't yell at people anymore if they don't get out of their seats. So it was cool. Friends came out and then some fans came out. It was a free show, but I managed to fucking sell a bunch of merch and that got me to the next town. But Red Brick Bar, that was dope because I got to see friends. And that's something too about traveling. And I've been traveling for so long since 2005 was when 2005 is when we first went to Chicago. And then, you know, 2002, we were going down to Toledo, Lansing. So I've been traveling pretty much since 2002, but actually touring since 2005, 2006. Yeah. So Red Brick Bar was nice. Friends came out, fans came out, people bought stuff, and they just kind of sat there and enjoyed the jokes. The jokes landed. It was dope. And I was in a good mood. I was selling merch. You know, people actually came out to the Red Brick Bar. The other shows, even though there wasn't a lot of people there, I still sold merch. So like here I am. I'm surviving on the road. And the next gig, I pull up to Anderson's Distillery, and this is my boy Brett. He's got like millions of followers on the internet. He's the guy with the glasses that plays the slap bass that you've seen all over TikTok. So, amazing musician, very cool dude. Sets up the show in Denton, Texas, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a good show. I had a lot of interest online. So in my mind, this is going to be the first good show of the tour. And I show up and there's a dude setting up the PA and I texted Brett and I'm like, Brett, I think I'm going to use my own PA. And then he's like, no, I think the PA can handle it. So it was one of those things where I should have trusted my gut instinct to have that be the first show where I set up the PA that I just bought that was sitting in a box in my van. I didn't set up the PA that I just bought that was sitting in a box in my van. And I used the house PA at this place called Anderson's Distillery. Great burger. Everyone was really nice. And I played the show and I got up there and immediately as I started performing like this, it sounded like ass. The PA just couldn't handle my stuff. And I had a really rough set because in my mind, I just kind of lost my mind. I knew it sounded like crap. None of the jokes landed. I was flustered on stage. I kind of fucking mildly crashed out. I just screamed a lot. And people came to see me perform and they didn't get a good show. So I apologize if anyone came to Denton, Texas, and the sound issues sucked ass, because they did. And it was just a lesson learned. If I have a line array PA system with a good sub where everything sounds clear as fuck, use it. If it's in your van and you're questioning it in the slightest, use the fucking use the PA. So I should have used the PA in Denton, Texas, but I didn't. And then I made a post and I was just like, I feel so bad. You know, it's like, you know, you try, I try so hard and I put so much work into doing this crap and you get up there and it just sounds like ass and everybody has everyone just kind of looks at you like, oh, I was excited to see this. I saw the memes online. I was excited to see the live show. And then you just fall short because of the sound system. And that's what happened. So I was like kind of depressed after that. But it was just a lesson learned, you know? And I played a lot of bad shows over the years. You play a lot of bad shows. So I was just like, okay, fuck it, bro. Next time, use the PA. All right, so that was Anderson's Distillery. And on to Austin, Texas. I will say, when I went to the bank after the Anderson's gig, there was this really weird instance I had with this fucking like Dallas, Texas area family, and they all were like piled into this fucking car and screaming at each other when they were trying to do something with the ATM. And I just sat behind them and I watched them litter and smoke cigarettes and get out of the car and get into the car and throw shit at each other. And it's like, yo, we're all in line here at the ATM. Can you leave your Jerry Springer shit at the door? And so yeah, it took fucking forever, and I'm sitting behind them at the ATM, and I'm just like, yo, this is America. It was like Idiocracy in real life. It was really intense. Just like throwing shit, littering, lighting cigarettes, yelling at each other. And this is while they were pulled up to the ATM. It's like, dude, you can do all this elsewhere. You can do all this after you go to the ATM. So once the woman did the ATM transaction, she pulled up and around, and as I was leaving, they were taking up the entire parking lot. They were like in the center of the parking lot, and they still were arguing and smoking and littering and yelling at each other. And I drove off, and I'm like, okay, so this is Fort Worth. That was my impression of Fort Worth. I mean, granted, I'm sure there's intelligent people that use nice words and have peaceful discourse between themselves and their family. But then there was that family. So I'm not here to judge the entire city of Fort Worth, Texas, but that was wild. Fuck, dude, that was crazy. So yeah, then down to Austin, where I met up with my friend from TikTok, Punk Rock Anthro, aka Allison, and she bought me the Terry Black's barbecue. She bought me barbecue, and she was an angel, bought me barbecue. It was amazing. It was amazing. I got brisket. Okay. So the thing about Terry Black's is there's a big line. They corral you in there, and it's like an assembly line, essentially. They're like, what sides do you want? And they're pushing you through just like cattle, this giant assembly line. And when you get up to where the meat is, you order by the pound. It's just like, oh yeah, I want this much rib, this much brisket, this much jalapeno cheddar sausage, this much regular sausage. And by the time you're done, it's exorbitantly priced. Like, it's the most amazing barbecue you'll ever have. It's like up there. Franklin, I think, might top it. But yeah, yo, Allison, if you're hearing this, thank you. That was fucking amazing. I can't believe that you treated me to a dinner of that quality. I don't think barbecue should be that expensive, but it's like you pay for the name. It's like a Louis Vuitton handbag or whatever. You pay because it's Terry Black's. You know, everyone knows Terry. You know, people line the fuck up and wait for an hour for this shit. So the brisket was amazing. It ain't like the brisket up here. It's funny because there's barbecue places up here and they're like, oh, this is the best barbecue place in Detroit. I don't know, bro. The brisket, you don't even need any sauce. You take a bite of it and it just melts in your mouth like butter. The jalapeno cheddar sausage, it's just like you bite into it and it's like a fucking food orgasm. You're just like, because it's that intensely good. It tastes that good. It's hard to describe taste with words, but it's one of those things where it's like as soon as you bite into it and it starts kind of enveloping the inside of your mouth, you're just like in this zone. It's like a pleasure zone. Yeah, I would compare it to sexual gratification. Food to me, really, when it hits, it really is that amazing. I will say, even on the last day of tour, there was like a fucking Little Caesars stand at one of the gas stations, and you could just buy a 4-piece deep dish pizza. And as I was eating that, it was like ecstasy. And Little Caesars pizza isn't even that good, but it was just the idea of, I've been working really hard and I've been working hard for a month, and I'm just going to fucking eat these 4 pieces of deep dish pizza like as fast as I can. And I'm just going to be like in my van going, oh, it's crazy. I have addiction issues. I talk about it all the time, like whether it's drinking or food, yada, yada. I get addicted to things. you know, and the reward of eating food that tastes good to your brain, it could be very addicting because it's ridiculously pleasurable. Even if you're eating something that isn't that good, but it was pizza at the time. It was Terry Black's barbecue at the time. It was it's indescribable. It's, you know, eating food is one of the most pleasurable things, I think, one of the most pleasurable parts of life. And I wrote a song about it. I drive around the country, I eat food, and I meet cool people. They got fucking food, and I like to fucking eat it. And that's like one of the best parts of tour. So Austin already was off to a great start, just based off of Terry Black's barbecue. So yeah, and then on to the venue. I show up to the venue. I had sold 18 tickets, and I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking good. And as the night went on, the fucking local bands actually fucking drew people. Imagine that. The local bands drew people, and yeah, by the end of the show, there was 50 people paid. And so there you go. 20 million views. Okay. 20 million views. And tens of millions of views on the Meaty Lance meme, 6 million views on the Laid Off meme, and 50 people paid on a Sunday night in Austin, Texas. That was the most well-attended show of the entire run. So it's it's telling because it pretty much what it's pointing to is internet virality does not equal ticket sales. And right now there's a dude online, and I'm noticing this. There's a dude named Carter Vale. Carter Vale is the leave a piece of dirt under the pillow for the dirt man. The dirt man guy. His shit went, leave a piece of dirt under my pillow for the dirt man. That guy. He went that guy has like millions of followers. And it's crazy because he's promoting this tour and he's freaking out about ticket sales. He's like, please buy tickets. If I can't sell tickets, I'm going to have to do something else with my life. Like, he's being pretty transparent to the point where if I had that many followers, I don't know if I'd be as transparent as him. But he seems genuinely nervous that he's not going to sell tickets. And he's like kind of in the same vein as me. He writes these short little songs. And I don't know if necessarily people listen to his music and it resonates on an emotional level for like long periods of time. I think they're very clever, well-written, funny songs. But that's what I do, you know? And it doesn't equal ticket sales. So yeah, 20 million views in 1 month, 50 tickets in Austin. That was the most well-attended show of the entire tour. So that gives you a little window into just that this shit is hard, you know? This shit is hard. But anyway, Austin rock, dude. I sold merch. It was great. And then after that, after Austin, there was the 2-day journey to Tucson, Arizona, which was if you look at a map, it was a 14-hour drive. Oh, what was that? Shit's making noise. It was a 14-hour drive. So you look at Austin, Texas. Texas is huge, by the way. And well, what's weird about this whole experience is the fact that I've been gone for a month and I feel like I teleported. I feel like when I came home yesterday and I looked at my cats, I feel like I had just left. It feels like all of this shit was incredibly surreal. And these 14-hour drives, these are the things that make you question whether or not it's even worth it to have signed up for this shit. And I have a dependable vehicle. I have a 2019 Ford Transit, and I spend a lot of money with the upkeep of it. But there are times, and I'm going to explain another one of these times on the tour, where you're like, you're driving in a place where if you break down, you're fucked. You're in the middle of fucking nowhere. You're in desert, fucking tumbleweed, lizard, Jim Morrison, peyote trip. If I break down, people aren't going to find me for days territory. And that was this 14-hour drive to Tucson, dude. It's like you're just there were points where your GPS stops working. And luckily for me, a lot of that drive, I believe like the drive started and I wasn't on the interstate, but a lot of it, like once you get on the 10, you're just on the 10 for like 400 or 500, 600 miles or whatever until Tucson, which is cool. But when you're on these like fucking side highways and it's just tumbleweed and there aren't people, I mean, it's funny because, and I'm going to bring this up again, but you think about like going to the moon or going to Mars. And we're human beings, right? And we make these machines, and a van is a machine, but a van, it's moving parts in metal. It could break. And when you're in the middle of fucking nowhere and you have no cell phone signal and all you see is like fucking lizards and mountains and dust and tumbleweed, and you're driving a man-made thing, I have anxiety. Like, I suffer from anxiety. So when it's weird because when you're in a band and you're driving through the desert and you got a bunch of guys, there's a sense of like, okay, if something happens, like we could pool our resources and figure this shit out. But when it's just you and your fucking phone and the internet, and you're like in the middle of the fucking desert, nowhere, your brain starts to go a little bit. Your brain starts to be like, okay, I'm driving this fucking machine that was built by men and it's fallible. Like, this machine, at any point, there could be a necessary component that could just break on it, and I could be stuck here. I could be stuck here with no cell phone signal, and someone was trying to tell me that like emergency roadside assistance has like a better signal type thing. I don't know that. I haven't broke down in the middle of nowhere yet, but it starts getting your brain going. You start sweating and you're just like, oh my God, dude. It's like, if I fucking break down out here, I'm a dead man. Like, I'm literally going to fucking die out here. And then it gets you to start thinking like, I just wish I was home. Like, why do I even do this? Why did I even think that fucking anyone gives a fuck about my music to the point where I would put myself in a situation where I'm in this man-made thing and I'm driving around and there's like nothing. I'm surrounded by nothing. It's nothing but me, this machine, and this phone that isn't working, and like I don't consider myself a spiritual person, but at that point I'm just like, I'm praying to the creator of the universe, or I'm praying to like something. I'm praying to some sort of entity that maybe is watching over me, if it even exists. I don't know if it exists, you know. I don't know what I think or what I know, and I'm just sitting here being like, please just get me through this, get me to the next city, because I want to see my cats again. And that's the reality of like touring by yourself and driving in the middle of nowhere. You have these thoughts. You have these thoughts like, are my fart songs worth me risking my fucking life and my actual life that I like now, my life with my wife and my cats? Are these fart songs that I'm playing in front of tens of people, is it fucking worth it? And these are the moments where you're like, hey, this isn't worth it. Like, why am I even doing this? What the fuck is the point? I'm in the middle of the fucking desert in this machine. It could break down at any time. And I'm literally risking my life to play these fucking fart songs. It's kind of heavy. But then, you know, once you get to a safe place, or once you get to a hotel, once you park your van in a place where you could crash out and you feel like a semblance of safety because there's gas stations and Walmarts around, those thoughts kind of go away. But there is like an underlying, is this worth it question that's going through your mind the whole time. You're like, is it worth it to fucking, you know, play in front of tens of people selling t-shirts and playing these fucking silly fart songs that I made on the internet? Is it worth it? And yeah, that's like the underlying question that is going on the whole time you're doing the fucking thing. But yeah, made it to Tucson, saw some old friends. It was great. You know, got hugs. I had a Sonoran dog, which is some sort of like it's a local cuisine in Tucson, Texas. I had a Sonoran dog. It was good. I met cool artists. I met creative people, inspiring people that put on cool shows. I talked with old friends. And then you're like, after that, you're like, oh, it's totally worth it. You know, that 14-hour drive was totally worth it. But it's like, I don't know. Once you zoom out and you look at the macro, you start asking yourself, you know, you're weighing, as you're in it, it's this fucking roller coaster because you're going through these moments of like, I shouldn't be doing this. This is fucking stupid. This is like, I'm a failure. There's no point. I'm going to die out here. But then you have like an amazing moment with friends and you're like, oh, it's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. And then it's wild, dude, because it literally is a roller coaster, at least at the level I'm at, because, you know, some of the shows pop off. Some of the shows eat shit. The next night in Phoenix, Arizona, it ate shit. I played for the local bands. You know, my audience, there was 3 people who bought tickets to see me. So I drew 3 people and the room was filled with maybe 8 total people. And the rest of the people were in bands. They all bought stuff. That's nice. Because that's the thing is even the local bands buy stuff. which is really nice. The local bands may not bring any people. They may not sell any tickets, which is crazy because this might be a hot take, but if you're in a local band and you can't bring 10 people, then what are you doing? No disrespect to the local bands that bought merch for me. I really appreciate it. And the local bands that I played with that have friends. But if you're in a band and you can't bring 10 people to your hometown, yikes, dude. And what's crazy is as a touring artist, you run into that constantly. You run into, we got 2 locals on the bill. Oh, sweet, cool. There'll probably be 30 people there. No. You're going to bring SUMPP, my group is going to bring, between 8 and 15 people, and the local bands are going to bring nobody? What's up with that? That's fucking nuts, dude. Whew, that is something, dude. And at that point, it's just like, what are you even doing? If you're playing a show in your hometown and you can't bring 10 people, what are you doing, dude? That's fucking insane. But anyway, I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings by saying that, but there comes a point where you need to look objectively at what you're doing and be like, why am I doing this? Am I doing this to go to a show and play in front of fucking nobody? Like, that's just a waste of time. Like, what are you even doing? Don't even play shows. If you want to just make music. But if you're going out there and you're trying to play a concert, you have to promote it. You have to try and get people out, It's yikes. But anyway, but everyone was really nice. That's the thing is like, I meet these local bands and they're all really nice. And some of them are fucking good. It's like, fucking try to bring some people, promote yourself, believe in yourself. It's not that hard. Get online, be annoying. And that's my advice to the bands that I played with that brought nobody. What are you doing? Phoenix ate shit, but everyone was really nice. What can you do? I sold enough merch, and after that, it was on to California. And California, to me, I used to live there. There's like all types of, there's all types of questions that go on in the back of my head when I go to California. It's just like, should have stayed out here? What could I have done differently? The relationships that failed while I was out there, the people I associated with in a business sense and yada, yada. So there's just all this like heaviness and blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, the whole reason I was going out to California is the whole reason the tour happened. I was offered money. So I was on my way to the money gig, which is called the Anchor gig. And it was fucking really nice. The dude, Transplants Brewery, the dude, Matt, is a great person, a purveyor of weird music in a town that there, apparently, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot going on in Palmdale, California. And this guy, Matt, has this fucking amazing venue and brewery that it looks very expensive. This dude dumped a lot of money into this place, and there's all types of like really cool mural art all over the place. And it's like, dude, it's cool because it seems like from where I'm standing, the Transplants Brewery in Palmdale, California, is like a bastion for weird music and art in a town that doesn't seem like it has a lot going on culturally. So it seems like on a Friday or Saturday night, people just go there to drink because it's like a hip spot to fucking have beer. And they also have they have all types of national acts that come through there too. So, seems like Palmdale is not a cultural hub. It's 2 hours north of LA or an hour and a half north of LA. It's hard to get to. You got to drive through the mountains, So it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but, it was dope. This was one of those shows where the local bands brought people, and I was like, cool, there's like 40, 50 people in this room, and I'm going to play in front of them. And by the time Norwood from Fishbone got done doing his set, like all those people had left. So I drew some people. I think, I might have drew 10 people that night, and they stuck around and they had a great time. And I put on as good a show as I could. And they had a good time and they bought merch. So that was that, Palmdale was a success. Matt took care of Norwood and I, and it was the first night of the tour because I have a sleeping rig in my van. It was the first night of the tour that I was able to sleep in my van because it wasn't 110 degrees. Arizona, 110 degrees. Austin, Texas, 100 degrees. There's no way I could sleep in my van. Even in Oklahoma and in Denton, it was pretty fucking hot. So I was like hotel, spending all this money on hotel. But once I got to California, it was time for van life, which was dope because I used to live out of my van. And it reminded me of when I was younger, back in 2016, living out of my van in California, the smell of the air, the way the dew and the condensation collects on your van. And when you wake up and you pull that curtain back and you see the 6 a.m. sun like peeking in through your windshield, it was a very welcome thing. It was fucking dope. And once again, see, these are like the moments of utter freedom that hit you when you're traveling or when you're like living out of your van. It's, you know, because right now I'm in this basement, right? I owe a lot of money on this fucking house. Like we have a mortgage and every month I got to come up with X amount of dollars to pay for this fucking house. Like we own this shit. It's, yeah, I have allergies in this place. Like there's things about this house that it's amazing. It's amazing to have a place, but there's something about waking up in a van that screams freedom, you know? And I'll correct my wife because she's like, well, you're free. And it's like, I'm on a very strict itinerary. Like I have to drive anywhere between 4 and 8 hours every day to get where I'm going. So it's not real freedom. Like I'm just like, oh, I'm going to drive to Yosemite and I'm just going to get lost for a week. To me, that would be real freedom. This is like a regimented version of freedom where you're driving. You know, you have to get to the next place. So you're kind of a slave to the itinerary, and that's touring. You're sort of free, but there's elements of freedom and the element of okay, the show's done. I pack my stuff up. I hop in the back of my van and I just pass the fuck out. And I wake up and the sun's come. The California sun is like rising over the horizon, and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna go and take a shit at the gas station and clean the crap off of my windshield and just like buy an energy drink and let's go. And then, yeah, that was a great day. I woke up in Palmdale and then I drove down and it was my 1-year wedding anniversary on the 7th. So this was the 6th. Then my wife flew into LAX and I picked her up at LAX and then we went and got In-N-Out, which is one of our favorite places to eat. We got In-N-Out Burger. And then we drove up to Highland Park, which is where my gig was that night. And yeah, I sold 29 tickets pre-sale. I was the only act. There was no locals. And that was awesome. I got to keep the entire door. I got to keep all 29 tickets, $12 a ticket. Let's see how much that is. Let's do our math here. 29 tickets at $12 a ticket. 300. Yeah, so I got paid about $400 to play a show in LA. And after the walk-ups there, I think there was like, you know, almost 40 people there just to see SUMPP. And that was beautiful. I saw friends and met new fans. And my friend Julius came up from San Diego and he gave my wife and I a bunch of little presents for our anniversary. It was very cute. So that was dope. Sound system was pretty loud, you know, small bar, but it's like, you know, 40 people in a small bar. The vibes were good. Sold merch. That was a fucking win. And I got my wife with me, you know, this is my best friend. It's fucking dope, dude. So, that was a win. It's like moments like that. It's like the fucking 14-hour drive through the desert where you think you're going to die. And then you're like with the person you love and you like share your life with and you're winning in a different city. You're winning in Los Angeles. You know, the last SUMPP show in Detroit, there wasn't 40 people there. You know, Detroit's tough, dude. Detroit's a tough town. But yeah, 40 people in LA. That was a fucking win. I got to keep all the money. Sold some merch. Got to eat 2 kinds of food that I like. I got to eat Hal Doc, the Korean chicken place, and I got to eat In-N-Out all in one day. And then I went to the hotel in Rancho Cucamonga with my wife, and we were in Vegas the next day. And yeah, that was a win. LA was a win. Now Vegas, I'm not a big fan of Vegas, you know. I like going there, but I'm not a big fan of how expensive the city is, you know. I like to throw some money into some slots. But my wife gets this idea. She's like, it's our anniversary. We got to do it big. We got to stay at Caesar's Palace. And it's like, oh, God, dude, that sounds expensive. And it was. So, like, I was kind of winning on tour. But let's just say those 2 days at Caesar's Palace, I wasn't winning after that. I spent way too much fucking money. But it was my 1 year anniversary. So it's like, you got to do it, I guess. You know? You got to spend the money in Vegas. We did that Meow Wolf thing. That was dope. We ate at a nice restaurant. That was dope. So yeah, but it's still a win. Think about it. Even though think about it this way, there were times in my life where, I was like sleeping in my mom's basement, or I was sleeping at one of my ex-girlfriend's place. And I remember on tour, I used to eat beans out of a can. I used to drive around. I used to eat beans out of a can. I used to drive around and eat tuna fish out of a can. You know, that's how fucking poor I was. The idea of being a married man who owns a house and who has like a nice person that really accepts me and appreciates me for who I am, all of that. I thought I had that, but it wasn't like a healthy adult version of it. It was like a kind of like puppy love type thing. You know, and a lot of the people I dated in the past were like really mentally damaged, and I hadn't done my healing yet either. So it's like to be in a position where I'm on tour, where I have the money to buy a fucking steak dinner, where I have the money to be able to pay for Caesar's Palace. That's a fucking win, you know. So I didn't lose by spending that money. In fact, if I could frame it differently, it was a win that I even had the money to fucking spend. It was a win that I even was in a position with the fucking woman I married for us to celebrate 1 year of marriage in Las Vegas and do like fucking Caesar's Palace. So it wasn't a loss that I spent all my money. It was a win because I had the money to spend. Okay, so that's the way I'm going to frame it. That's a more positive way of framing it. But I will say, fuck Las Vegas, dude. Las Vegas is a city that is engineered to pull every single fucking dollar out of your fucking ass and just keep pulling. It's like one of those fucking things like, what is it, a siphon? It's like once you suck on it and the pressure is made and it starts, the water starts coming out of the other end. That's like your asshole and money coming out of you. That's what Vegas does for you. It sucks a little bit on your asshole, and then once the money starts coming out, it doesn't stop until there's none left. So fuck Vegas. But it was a win because I was with my wife. Played a show. The show ate shit. Yeah, there was no locals. It was just me and Norwood from Fishbone, and it could have been promoted better. Let's just put it that way. It could have been promoted better. It was not good, but I had fun. Okay, so after that, what happened after Vegas? Okay, my wife and I, we did the thing. We spent all the money. That was a win. I have to look at it that way. Just the fact that I was able to have money to spend in Vegas on my 1 year anniversary, that's a win. Because I've not been in that position before. I've not been in a position where I had money to burn in a city like that. I wish I could have kept it, but also, you know, we had a good time. We had the experience. My wife and I will always remember our 1 year wedding anniversary. We'll remember it. Yeah, so then after that, I went to Bakersfield, California. I went back to California. And I played at Brandon's house, and Brandon was really nice. And Brandon made me food. And it was, you know, once again, it was another show in front of 5 people. The 5 people showed up in the backyard. None of them were my fans. They all were like, okay, we know Brandon, and this guy's going to play in his backyard. And I played, and there was a dude like doing cartwheels, and people laughed at my jokes, and it was pretty cool. And I was gifted a meal, which was amazing. And risotto. I've never had risotto before. So Brandon cooked me risotto. Shouts out to Brandon. And then they got me baked goods. And that's the other thing too. It was just funny about tour. Normally, back in the day, I would go on tour and I would get skinnier. I went on tour and I was 213.7 pounds. And I got back from tour, I'm 213.4 pounds. So I actually like remained the same weight, which which that meant I was well fed. And that's one thing I will say. I was well fed on this tour, man. It's crazy. Okay, we're 44 minutes into the pod. Maybe I can try to like wrap it up because I don't want this to be longer than a fucking hour. Who wants to hear me talk for fucking an hour and a half? Not me. Who wants to even talk for an hour and a half? Not me. Fuck all that shit. Okay, so went to Brandon's house. That was dope. Cooked me food and then got me a bunch of cookies. And I told myself, I'm only going to have one of these cookies. I ate all of them. I ate the whole fucking thing. And that's the thing with the back to the idea of food is pleasure. I get one cookie and I'm sitting in my van. And I'm like, oh, this cookie's so good. And then next thing I know, I ate the whole fucking box. I ate a box of cookies. I tell people I have portion control issues. It's true because once you pop, you can't stop. You just keep eating. God fucking damn it. But yeah, so played a show in front of 5 people and then I went north and I went to Pacifica, which is the second show that I used my PA. And that I returned the PA to Guitar Center. I don't have the PA anymore, but that's a good little PA. If anyone ever needs a good little powered PA, a line array, it's kind of expensive, but it's called the Evolve 30M. And it's there's a subwoofer, and then it has a tower of speakers, and it sounds pretty fucking good. I will say it served its purpose very well. So shouts out to the EV company for making a good PA. And then I used that PA in Pacifica. It wasn't really loud enough for the bar. The bar was a little bit too big. But I couldn't get their PA to work. I showed up and my boy CJ, who owns the place, I'm like, hey, how does this PA work? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, you own the fucking bar. He's like, I don't know. There's a PA and it's just like there. There's no sound guy. And then it's like, hey, did any of these people pay to come? No, they just let everybody in. So it was one of those gigs where it's like, you're like, okay, I know there's people to see me here, but none of them paid to get in. So how am I supposed to get paid? And also, I know you have a PA, but how does this thing fucking work? But CJ's great. Fuck it. I slept in my van. It was a nice night. I shot a little video by the fucking ocean. Pacifica is like just south of San Francisco. So there's like, it's right along the 1 or the 101. And there's this like amazing fucking ocean view and a pier. It all was pretty dope. Right now, my wife is making a smoothie upstairs. It's making noise. So yeah, Pacifica, it was, there was things about it. But people had fun. That's the thing is when I played, people had fun and people bought merch. So there we go. And that's like what we're getting into is when you look at the whole tour in the macro, it was me playing in front of small crowds, people having fun and people buying merch. The most people that came to any of the shows was fucking Austin and it was 50 people. So if anyone's like in my DMs being like, bro, you blew up, you made it because you got 20 million views in a month. This is not making it. I'm going to work at the catering company this week, dude. But it's okay because my heart is full and I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be alive and I'm grateful to be back at home with my cats and my wife who I love. And I made it. So yeah, after that, let's look back at the picture. Okay, so after Winter's Tavern was Ashland, Oregon. I drove up Ashland, Oregon by Mount Shasta, halfway between San Francisco and Portland. Ashland, Oregon, a small little mountain town, and very beautiful. And then I showed up there, and they made me a great burger, and there was fucking people there on a Thursday night, and I got the entire door. I got like $300. There's like 30 people there on a Thursday night. It was fucking great. And not a lot of them really knew SUMPP. They just were there because, get this, the promoter did his job. The promoter got the fucking word out. The promoter bought ads. The promoter / the owner of the bar, I think his name's Julian. Shouts out to Julian from Ashland, Oregon. He just fucking did what he was supposed to do. And people showed up and he sold drinks and I got paid. Imagine that. Julian Jones. Shouts out to you. So that was a win. Ashland, Oregon was a win. And that's the thing is even if you're playing in front of 30 people, if 30 people pay $10 and you're getting the whole door, that's $300. If 30 people, if even like 4 of those people buy a t-shirt, that's like $200, you know? So like it, as a solo artist, it's completely reasonable to sustain yourself just based on merch sales and door if people do their fucking job. If you show up at a place and, you know, there's no sound guy and no one is getting charged at the door, how are you supposed to know how many people came to see you? And then how are you supposed to get money unless they give you a cut of the bar? At this level, it's very hit and miss. Very, very hit and miss. But yeah, so shouts out to Julian, Ashland. That show was dope. The burger was great. Everyone had a great fucking time. I had a good time. That was fucking fun, dude. And then Portland was the next gig, and that was another win. Portland was a win. I sold 18 tickets or so. And it was another one of those things where I independently sold the tickets, and then the rest of the people were able to like donate if they wanted to. But there's one of those venues where they're like, we don't charge a cover. So every single person who came to that show was essentially donating me $14 or $12 or $14 or whatever. So it's so funny because the way this shit is structured at this small level, you almost have to vend your own tickets if you want for the event to be ticketed, which is kind of nice because you get, you know, it's like people directly donating to you. Your fans who want to come see you play, they're essentially giving you a donation. They're giving it right to you. So that was a win. By the time I even showed up, I had made money on that show. And then my friend Dave Plow opened, and that was a lot of fun. And then my friend Jack's band played, Four Hot Kings, and that was a lot of fun. It was just a fun night. It was a fucking Friday night in Portland, and it was another one of those gigs where everybody sat down. It's like I'm starting to realize that what I do is maybe it's just the audience is old and they don't want to get up and stand up, but it's kind of like a stand-up comedy routine. What I do is I get up and I tell the jokes and I play the songs, and even if I'm like going super fucking hard and rocking super hard and the music's all heavy metal, people are just like sitting there and enjoying it like it's a dinner show. It's fucking weird, dude. Maybe everyone's just old, or maybe the aesthetic of what I do is conducive to people sit and watch. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. But Portland fucking ruled. And then I got to see my longtime friend Jack, who I've known since 2003. And he took me out the next day, and we sat in the hot tub and we talked about life. And he bought me a molcajete, which is like a cauldron of meat and stew. It's a Mexican dish, molcajete. Try it. It's fucking amazing. So that was cool. And then I went to Seattle after that. And this show was rough because the venue tried promoting it and I tried promoting it. And it was just one of those things where nobody fucking came. I sold fucking 8 tickets. And it was a room that you can fit 250 people in with 8 people in it. And another weird thing that I wanted to point out, some of these shows that have nobody there, the people that come will talk very loudly. Like imagine playing a show in front of 8 people and 2 of those people are talking like so loudly that you can hear them like over your set. That was Seattle. But they paid me and they paid Sam from Flagman, and that was dope. They didn't have to do that. When they gave me money, I was like, what are you guys doing? Nobody showed up to this. They're like, this is the deal we agreed upon. And I'm just like, oh, news to me. I didn't really know about the deal. This was done by an outside promoter. So it was interesting to get paid for a show that failed. But that's the thing. I mean, I'm in the music industry. I work for a group that sold 4 million records, and sometimes there's an agreed amount that you get paid, and even if the show doesn't do very well, you still get paid that much. So very interesting. That was something that happened in Seattle. But yeah, it was, dude, if this is my advice to you, if you're one of 5 people in a room, right, and there's a performer on stage, don't talk. You know, if you're at a show and there's like 1,000 people there and you're in the back and you're like talking with your friend about something, you know, that shit happens. But if there's a show and nobody's there, just try and give your attention to the performer, make them feel a little less weird about playing in front of nobody. That's my advice. You don't have to listen to it because people don't. People don't listen to it. And I didn't even like call them out because the old me would have been like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? I'm up here. I drove." The thing I do like throwing out there when people start talking is how long I drove to be there. Like I drove 4.5 hours to be here tonight. It happened in Denver. There was people loudly talking in front of me, and they were talking louder than the PA. And I was like, "I drove 8 hours to be here," because I did. So maybe like pay attention to what I'm doing. Also, you don't have to. I'm not going to call you out. I'm not going to be like, "Shut the fuck up." I'm just going to be like, "Hey, I'm going to play the soft song now. I drove 8 hours to be here." Just my little way of saying, I put a lot of work into coming out here and preparing this for you. So could you pay attention, please? Otherwise, like maybe like go outside and talk instead of talking right in front of me. It's kind of fucking, it's not very nice, but whatever. There's worse things in the world. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so yeah, Seattle played in front of 5 people. The next show, Ray's Golden Lion. In 2012, I played here with Downtown Brown, and the man, Ray, who owns Ray's Golden Lion, he's since passed away. It's switched owners. It actually was closed for some amount of time, but this was in Richland, Washington. And one of the most beautiful drives of the entire tour was driving from Seattle to Richland and like seeing all these like crazy like mountains and rivers and all these side roads. Fucking crazy beautiful drive. But I show up there and it's like, okay, Ray's Golden Lion is now being run by these like rocker guys. And Ray has since passed away. But I remember I was on tour with Psycho Stick in 2012, and Ray and I got into it. Like, Ray, we had some sort of a conflict, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but by the time Downtown Brown played in 2012 at Ray's Golden Lion, Ray and I were hugging in an embrace. So rest in peace, Ray. I don't remember exactly what happened, but there was conflict, and then there was resolve. And Ray and I, he called me his son or something. We hugged. It was great. And when I went back there, it was fucking awesome. The bands that we played with, guess what? They brought people. They promoted the show. And it made the show awesome because the people that the bands brought, they were open-minded, weird kids. And they were like, "Hey, the SUMPP guy, I'm with it." They danced and they had a great time. It was fucking awesome. I slept in my van in a Planet Fitness parking lot that night. That was dope. The next day, I went down to Boise. It was it was 2 days. Yeah, it was one of those 2 days it took to get down to Boise. So I had a day off in the hotel. Pretty sure I just took a half a Xanax and slept a lot. And okay, so this is the thing. I remember when I was promoting this tour, I'm like, "Hey, just like that Carter Vale guy, it's like you got to buy tickets or else these promoters aren't going to book me again." And I actually got shit for that. People are like, "Oh, you're trying to guilt people into buying tickets." It's like, no, I'm telling people the fucking reality of the music industry. If you don't sell tickets, people might just cancel the show on you. And guess what happened in Boise, Idaho? No one bought tickets. Show got canceled. So there you go. If you want to come see me perform, you got to buy tickets. And because it's so funny, I got DMs from people. They were at the venue. They're like, "Where are you? I'm here for the show." You didn't buy tickets. Okay? Show's canceled. And, it sucks because I'm like, dude, no one bought tickets. They canceled the show. And I told that to the people in my DMs. It's like, dude, show's canceled. No one bought tickets. So, yeah, these upcoming shows that I got when I'm going to New York, I got a couple Ohio dates coming up. I'm playing in Toledo and I'm playing in Columbus, and I have 4 shows in the state of New York. Buy fucking tickets because unfortunately this is a business, and the way the industry works is they look at how many tickets did you sell last time you came here? And if the answer is 0, they're going to be like, "Well, we don't want you." It's the way it is. You think the guy from Boise, Idaho is going to like fucking bend over backwards to book a guy that sold 0 tickets and the show got canceled? No, I'm probably never going to work with that guy again. I do know him. Maybe he'll book me if it makes sense, if he's got nothing else going on, but he's not going to prioritize me. Like in his eyes, I am worthless. Maybe not as a human being, but as a fucking something to make money off of. And unfortunately, this is the music business. Yep. So that didn't happen. Okay. And then from Boise, I went to Denver. And this is another one of those instances where I was driving down the highway and then the highway's closed. I'm like, why is the highway closed? Oh, it was so windy that 2 fucking semis blew over on the highway in Wyoming. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll plug into my map this roundabout route, right? So I go backwards and then I start going south. And dude, I was on Mars. My GPS stopped working. My cell phone stopped working. And there was a point where I was on dirt roads for like 120 miles on gravel roads. And I was just telling myself, I'm like, dude, I'm in a man-made vehicle right now that literally if any of the necessary components of this vehicle break and I'm stranded out here, I will die. So on my ride to Denver was like panic attack city. It was just like, please get to the town. Please get to town. Oh, and I was running out of gas. I was like, please get to the town. Please get to the town. And I'm fucking essentially, I'm driving on these dirt roads. I might as well have been on the moon. There's like, and there's these mountains in the distance. Everything is dust. It's just dust and mountains and redness, like a red-orange tint hue. And yeah, my podcast that I normally listen to just started going out. And then all my cellular service. And then, you know, if you have an iPhone, when your cellular service isn't there anymore, there's a little thing that says SOS. And I see the SOS thing. And I'm just driving. My GPS stops working. And somehow, some way, I made it to town. I refueled. And then after that, I was just on like these like bendy mountain roads to get back to the highway. By the time I got back to the highway, I was so fucking burnt out from stress. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. And then I was like, I had to drive fucking, 3 more hours after that? Just pounding caffeine. And by the time I got to Denver, the air was so thin. And I was just so fucking out of it. I felt like I was fucking hallucinating for the rest of the night. But people came out. Some fans came out. It was in this girl, Ashley's garage. And they converted their garage into like this jam space, and her boyfriend or her fiance, I don't know if they're boyfriend, he has his band and they practice in that space. And it was dude, it was an amazing show, but I was cooked, dude. My brain was fucking fried. I had nothing left, no energy. I had like the stress had just depleted me and the lack of oxygen. And I was just like, Jesus fucking Christ. And it really beat me the fuck up. But it was amazing. And it was sold the most merch out of any of the shows, which is really funny because I was in a garage with maybe like 30 people and I did the most merch that night. So that's the thing, man. You don't have to be inside the walls of a sanctioned venue, an actual place that does business. You can be in someone's garage in Denver and you could fucking do your best merch night. So that was dope. Shouts out to Ashley. Thanks for having me. That was amazing. I was cooked though. And I did have some carne asada fries. And then I woke up the next day and we're getting close to the end of the tour here. Yeah. I woke up the next day and I drove to Wichita, Kansas, which was like, yo, this dude, Jordan, he printed out flyers and he like spray painted a sign that said SUMPP one night only. But there was like, there's two of my fans showed up, and then Jordan was a fan. So there was 3 of my fans. But then like his like wife was there and his daughter. There was maybe 5 or 6 people watching me, and this was like in a backyard in Wichita, Kansas. And it's just funny going from the show in Denver where it's like people knew the words to my songs, and there was like, you know, everyone bought merch to play in front of like 3 people, 4 or 5 people. Yeah. But the thing is like when I look back at it and the little video montage I made, it certainly was a moment. And that's the thing is it's just in your life, you're collecting these moments and you're collecting these memories. And everywhere I go, I'm filming stuff and making videos of it because I'm a content creator. And it's like when I look back at the video for the show I played in front of 5 people in Wichita, Kansas, it really, it was like kind of a special experience. You know, you show up to someone's home and they're like welcoming you and they're introducing you into the world. They're showing you, you're meeting their fucking kids and they're showing you like a window into their life. You're meeting their dogs. and they're cooking you bratwurst. They're genuinely excited to have you there. They go to the store just so they can get you a Coke Zero. That was fucking amazing. And I feel like when you're in the business of music, you look at the metrics of things a little bit too much. You're like, oh, only 5 people showed up. That was not a success. But the thing is when I look back at the video, that was a fucking moment in my life. I went to Wichita, Kansas, and I met this family, and they took me into their house, and I played my music for them. It was like the really intimate experience. I played my music for them and just them. And even they talked while I played. But I don't know, there was something about it that it was special. It was like a special moment. And sometimes you need to quantify these things that are in front of you, and these things that you do. It's not always about how much merch did I sell? How much money did I make? Sometimes it's like, yo, that was a moment in not only my life, but that was a moment in their life. Like, and I had a guy tell me in Denver, he's like, yeah, man, I just know I'm going to be telling someone in a couple years, I saw SUMPP in a garage in front of fucking 30 people. And I'm not going to like bet on the certainty of me being more successful, because at this point I'm being pretty realistic about things. It's like I can sell some merch and I can do okay. But like the idea of someone being like, yeah, I remember, SUMPP is playing the Enormo Dome, and I remember when they were in a garage in front of 30 people. It's like, it's cute, but what that points to me is that these people are framing my appearance in their life as something special, and I can't discount that. I can't discount Jordan's house in Wichita, Kansas. I can't discount it because there wasn't a lot of people there. It was like, in his eyes and in my eyes, I think it was kind of special. He messaged me afterwards. He's like, that was so dope, dude. He's like, next time I'm going to get people there. But it was, okay? It was dope. So then I drove a really long way to Kansas City, Missouri. And this was another instance where I showed up and I'm unloading my crap, and immediately a man comes up to me with more food than I possibly could eat. Sauerkraut dogs, chili dogs, fucking fried bologna sandwiches, hot dogs with fucking bacon and macaroni and cheese on them. Dude, just like, this is the difference between being in a band that nobody knows about and being in a music project where some people know about you. And they pick up on your personality and they pick up on your vibe. And, I talk all the time. I'm stoked on food. I'm a big dude, 213.4 pounds. And this dude, Scotty C, shows up with, he's got a food truck, and he does like these gourmet fucking crazy chili dogs and hot dogs. And they all have weird names. I forget, what was the macaroni and cheese dog called? Oh, it's called the Mac Daddy. He's like, I got you 2 Mac Daddies. And I'm just like, I ate those fucking things, dude. Macaroni and cheese and bacon on a hot dog. Dude, fuck my ass. It was amazing. So yeah, that show, I sold 18 tickets. It was weird though, because it's like I sold 18 tickets, but as I was playing, everyone was super far away from the stage. And it just started to get to the point where maybe my act is one of those things you don't really get up close to and rock out to. It's just something you just listen to. Or maybe just everyone who buys tickets to my shows is old. I don't fucking know. But looking back at the live stream from the show, it seemed like people had a good time. I did play kind of late, and they did have the air conditioning off in the venue for like the first 3 bands. So there was like the heat inside of the venue was imposing. So it makes sense that by the time I played and I was like 45 minutes into my set, maybe people were like, okay, dude, I've had enough of tonight. I'm fucking out of here. But once again, it was a success. Kansas City was a success. And then yesterday, the 21st of September, I went to Kankakee, Illinois, and it was a long fucking drive. 7-hour drive. I show up there, and dude, one of the dopest shows of the tour. It was the stage at this bar on the rocks was right along the river in Kankakee, Illinois. So already you got this like beautiful river thing there, and there wasn't a bunch of mosquitoes because a lot of time when you're by the water, there's a bunch of mosquitoes. No, it was by the river. It is on the back deck. There's a stage, and Squiggle played. Squiggle's like a fucking 2-piece kind of like Primus core band. Like great slap bass, amazing fun band to listen to. And then this band called The Simpsons, SIMSONS, played. Fucking by far the most dynamic, talented, and amazing band that I played with, like not just on this tour, but in a long, long, long fucking time. Mind blowing fucking local band, The Simpsons. Check them out. Blew my fucking mind. No singer, just instrumental, like saxophone, guitar, drums, bass. But they literally were having conversations with each other through the music. And guess what? They brought people. People came to see them. Imagine that. The promoter did their job. There was everyone got paid. It was good. It was a good way to end the tour. And then I drove to the Planet Fitness, and I slept in my car in the Planet Fitness, and then I woke up. I got an energy drink, and I drove home. And that was the tour. That was the fucking tour, dude. And now I am 1 hour and 10 minutes into this podcast, SUPcast 99, which we are going to title Tour Recap. And my final thoughts on the tour. This is the thing. Okay. You have these moments where you're driving your vehicle on Mars, and you're wondering, why am I even doing this? Why is it even fucking worth it? But then you have these moments where you show up at a place and people are like ready to gift you food. People are ready to buy your merch, and people are ready to tell you how excited they are to see SUMPP live in concert. So when you weigh all that shit, it's like, okay, I have to think a little bit harder before I come to a definitive conclusion about what I'm going to be doing going forward here. But all in all, huge fucking win. So if anyone is listening to this shit out there and, you were a part of it, I just want to say thank you so much. Yeah. It's the longest tour I've done since 2018. The last tour I did that was like that long, maybe like 4 weeks, was in 2018. And it was a miserable experience. So compared to that, huge fucking win. I came back in one piece. I came back with a little bit of money in my bank account, and I came back and my merch is like depleted, and speaking of that, I'm going to be doing a sale here. SUMPstore.com, SUMPP store.com. I'm going to be getting rid of all of this shit for cost. So when this goes up, I think the sale will already be happening. SUMPstore.com. I think I have 2 of the SUMPP vinyl left that I'm going to be selling for $15. I think I have a handful of the tapes left that I'm going to be selling for $5. So get the remainder of this shit because I'm getting new stuff. And other than that, I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing going forward here. I want to make an album. I want to like work on music. I think I played a lot of shows, and I think I have a good idea of like what this thing is as far as a live experience is. I think I have it sounding pretty good. I think the backing tracks are good. I think the jokes land. I think I have a real tight hour. But other than that, yeah, I just want to make new stuff. So I'm going to make an album. I'm going to finish my second album that I've been thinking about for a really long time. So that being said, yeah, get this merch because I'm not gonna be like reprinting a lot of it. And if I do, it'll have different album art. That's another story altogether. Blah 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 blah. I think I'm gonna be done here, but the tour was a success. It was an absolute success, and the times I had to reconnect with friends and make people laugh, and the shows that went well, I think made up for the shows that were kind of iffy. But even the shows that were kind of iffy, there was like, once again, playing in front of 5 people in Jordan's backyard. There was something special about it. Because who knows if I'm going to be in a position like that ever again, where I am booking a tour and then my mom like goes into the hospital and everything gets fucked up and then I'm scrambling to make it happen. But this is the thing, is even if your life is fucking out of control and you have this thing in the distance that you're like, I still want to make this happen. It's entirely possible for everything to kind of work out, and not work out spectacularly, like selling 100 tickets a night and making thousands and thousands of dollars. But it's like, dude, I told Brian, my boss, the lead singer of the Verve Pipe, I told him yesterday, he's like, how'd the tour go? I said, well, I didn't die. I ate a lot of good food. I played a bunch of good shows, and I have some money in my pocket. And he says to me on the phone yesterday, you can't ask for much more than that. So at the end of the day, huge win. I got to celebrate my 1-year anniversary in Las Vegas with my wife at Caesar's Palace. Spent all my money, but I had the money to spend. We had special moments. There were some shitty moments, and there were some scary moments. When you're driving in the fucking middle of nowhere and you're just hoping your van doesn't break down. So, but it didn't. Knock on wood. Knock, knock, knock. I'm alive, and this has been Tour Recap, SUPcast number 99. I have some interviews lined up, so I'm going to be getting back into doing the podcast. Episode 100, I don't know what I'm going to do, but we're reaching episode 100. This is 99. All right, that's it. 1 minute and 15 seconds. 1 minute, 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 47 seconds. I'm going to hit the button. So subscribe and do all the stuff. And also Patreon. If you sign up for the Patreon, you get to hear this type of crap a day before it premieres on YouTube. So it's we really appreciate everyone that is supporting the Patreon right now. And I have work to do, so I'm going to get back to work here. And that's the other thing I want to say about work. And don't let anyone ever tell you that if you're doing something that doesn't make a profit, that it's not work or hard work. Because, dude, I've been doing this shit since 1996, and I've been busting my ass. And I just started making a tiny bit of money doing this. And this is the thing, is what do I do right now? Do I just be like, okay, I'm making a tiny bit of money, I guess I'm not going to work? No, I'm going to work harder, bro. I'm going to work harder, and I'm going to work smarter. So that being said, thank you, everybody. Tour Recap, SUPcast 99. My name is Neil Patterson. I am out. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Comment below. It helps the algorithm. And then there's a Patreon link right here if you want to support the channel. You could also subscribe. And there's another video around here that you can watch if you want to watch more stuff. Your time is greatly appreciated. Hope you have a fantastic day.